Thank you for joining us here on Westnile TV, and this is the Real Talk with me, Ayot Lillian, every Saturdays from 8 to 10 p.m. We do this, and you can find us on Star Times Zuku to be a part of this discussion. You can go to our YouTube or Facebook channel to leave a comment. You like, subscribe, and leave a comment on this topic of today, because we also want to know your opinion. Thank you for joining us for this episode. I bet it's going to be an interesting one, and today we're particularly taking on a topic that most of us are familiar with, and that is the topic on the street children. I know you have had encounters with these children. You're asking questions, who is a street child, or what are they doing here on the streets? We've heard of high crime rates being committed by children on the streets, and now that particularly Arua has a city status, we're also going to look at how Arua has been affected, whether the city status has led to influx in the number of these children. We are going to, in the first segment, have an understanding of who a street child is, their characteristics, what kind of lifestyle they live, and what has driven them to come on the street. Thank you so much. And we have a guest here in the studio. At the appropriate time, we'll have her introduce herself, and I hope you are enjoying this evening. If you are just catching the show right now, make sure to share the link to your friend who should be catching this, because I know all of us have been affected. If you've not lost any phone on the street, or maybe anything, pickpocket in the market, in the streets, and know these children have been blamed, but the question is, what are they doing on the street, or what has driven them to be on the street? So we are going to have a very, very deep understanding on that today in the studio together with Victoria. You are most welcome to this studio. Please say hi to all of you out there.
Thank you. My name is Amadiru Victoria, as Lillian had already said. I work in Arua City, especially in Central Division. I work as the Probation and Social Welfare Officer. Thank you. Good evening, my listeners.
Thank you so much. That's the Probation Officer, Arua City Central Division. Thank you for joining us today. And she is the focal person here, going to tell us more about these street children, because we have had a rise in the number of these children in the streets of particularly, let's talk about Arua City. And a lot has been associated with the presence of these children on the street. So, Victoria, quickly, who is a street child?
As Arua City, as I can say right now, the number of street children in Arua City, especially in Arua town, is increasing. These are children who are just surviving on the streets. And there are two categories. They are classified into two categories. Like there are those ones who come to town in the names of looking for survival, supplementing the family income. And then there are those ones who come permanently. They are just dwelling on the streets. Yes.
Okay. So there, from what she has said, there are these children who are always on the street, and we have these ones who have a reason for being there, and there are these who just find themselves on the street. They feel they want to be on the street. A lot of them come for different reasons, and that is that. But it doesn't necessarily mean that every child you get on the street is a street child. So what are some of the characteristics of these children on the streets?
Now, this first group I mentioned, the one I said who come to town looking for survival, you find most often they pick things like bottles, and then they sell them like rugs in town. They sell, other people send them to sell for them things like caveras. You find most times at the end of the day, like late in the evenings, they go back to their families. But there are these ones who come, they are not even doing anything, they are not selling, they just keep moving around. You find at the end of the day, they are sleeping at the verandas of shops. So that is it. And then you find, as they are there on the streets, they engage in bad activities, they are into drugs, they steal people's things like pickpocketing money, and then they pick phones, and then plus other things. So you find in Arua City, the phenomenon is really disturbing. The number has increased, and you find every day as a probation officer, you find when you go to the police stations, in a day like this, you'll never get to find a street children who has been arrested. Yeah.
So you've described the kind of life they live on the street, and what's the youngest age that you have arrested on the street? Are there any operations that you've carried out recently?
Operations have been carried on several times. The ones that have been arrested, they are mostly from 6 years and above, up to the age of 15. You find most times they are got, and then they give you reasons as to why they are there. Me personally, whenever they are arrested, it is me. I go, I interact with them, because from police, their files are taken to the state attorney. You find later they are produced to the courts of law. So I play a very key role there, because it is me who gives the social inquiry about them. So most times when I interact with them, they always give me a reason as to why they're on the streets. Like the ones I have interacted with, they will either tell you at home they're not taking good care of them. You find most of them, their parents are not there. There are those ones whose parents are not there, they are not taking care of them. You find these young children are just at home, they are not going to school. Even feeding is a challenge for them. So they tell you, we are coming to look for food, so you have no option. At times I tell them sincerely, now children of your age, they're in school, but for you now, right now you're in police being arrested. How do you expect us to help you? Like there's one who told me she has been staying with the stepmother mistreats him, and then the father is a border, does not take care of him. So he was forced, and if you see this boy, he's really very young. He told me he's 11 years, but when you look at him, he looks like a boy of 8 years. Very small like this. So when I talked to him, he told me he actually came to town looking for food. So he found himself in town. It was the borders who were buying for him food the other side of Smash. So that is how he has been surviving. For him, he didn't know that there were also children who were thieves. But later, when he got to know them, he had to join them, because in the evening they sleep together. Yeah. And then there are others, when I try to talk to them, you find those are children who are either involved in criminal activities, they steal their parents' things, and then when they are threatened, they run away from home. And their parents are there looking for them. So what we always do is, after talking to them, when we get those ones who are really young, we get to their parents, we counsel them, and then we resettle them back. But there are those ones, they will never disclose you where they stay, because they fear. They know, they tell me that even going back home will not be of any value to them. They would rather prefer to go to the remand home. So you find most times they are those ones when they are taken to court, they are remanded, they are taken to the remand home, and you find it is really good for them, because they were telling me at the remand home there is food, you can have breakfast, lunch and supper, you watch TV, things which are not there at home, so they like enjoy it. And then there was this group, when I interacted with them, I asked them, what is the reason? Why are you people on the streets? They told me they just love street life. That they told me during the day they are at home, in the evening now they walk and they chat with their friends, they run around, so they enjoy being on the streets. They didn't have any reason. Yeah, that is it.
So like you said, you have had interaction with some of the parents, but when you talk to them after listening to their children, do the parents tell you the same things that the children tell you, or it's always a different kind of story?
Now, Lillian, the engagements I've had with the parents of the sweet children I've ever interacted with, they have different stories. Like there are those ones, they really want to support their children. You find that even these children are in school, but they don't listen to their parents. They disappear from home. You find this is somebody, a child, a parent will start looking for, they don't know the whereabouts. So when they are contacted, they are always surprised. And then there are those ones, for real, they are not taken good care of. So they leave home and then they come to town. But there are those ones, after maybe stealing the parents' things, and then they are threatened, they leave home and then they run away. Yeah.
Okay. So some of these parents are willing to take care of their children, but it's the children who willingly go out on the street to do some of these things. Let's zero down to Westnile, Arua in particularly. Which area is most affected by this?
Only Central Division. You find that last week around 13 children were arrested, and all of them were coming from Oli. So when I try to, like the kind of life, you find children are not in school, especially in Oli, parents don't value education, they don't provide basic needs for children. You find those children always find the street as their home. In fact, they even believe more in their friends than their parents. Because there was this one I asked, assuming that now I take you home, will you be ready to stay at home? He told me, no, it is better I go to what? I go to the remand home and then I stay with my friends. And he was also telling me, you find that those ones, the parents also expect them to what? To be, when they come to town, they should go home with something to support them. So there was this one, this young boy who was from Maracha. When I tried to talk to him, he told me actually when he comes to town, when he's going back, the mother expects him to go with something for the family. Yeah.
So some of these children are out because they need to, support their children, their parents in providing for the family. They have different reasons. You can also tell us some of the reasons as to why these children are on the street by going on our YouTube or our Facebook channel. Leave your comment and we'll read your comments right here. Still turning to Victoria, do some of these children, we want to look at the effect of urbanization since Arua City attained this city status. Has that affected the influx of street children in Arua City? Are these children all people from maybe, let's say, Oli, or there are children from other districts who have come to the city to look for better, a better condition of living?
If you take the children that have been arrested, most of them are within the city. And most of them are coming from Oli Central Division. Though there are few who are coming from other areas, but the greatest number comes from Oli. Yeah.
Oli Central Division.
Yes.
And you talked about these children being taken to remand homes, and how has that helped change their behavior, or some of these people, when they get out, they just go back to their old habits? Has that had an impact on their lives?
Yeah, I am thinking arresting them. Some of them, they really don't like that experience because it is really a bad one for them. You find them pleading that, auntie, don't take us to prison, at least now help us, take us back home, we are going to be at home. But there are those ones who enjoy. You find like some 2 weeks ago, there were these children who were arrested on the streets. They found them actually sleeping with some like 2 adults. So they were taken to remand home. When they were told from the court that they will be taken to remand home, they clapped. So it was like a joy for them. I was even surprised. I was really surprised. And you find these ones who were arrested last week, recently, the 13, out of the 13, the 2 I just picked like 2 weeks ago from remand home to settle in their homes, they were among these ones. And yet I had talked to them, I told them I don't want to see them on the streets. Actually, when they saw me, they started crying because they remembered what I told them. So you take them back, they keep coming back, so that is it. Getting them out of the street, it is really a battle.
It is a battle.
Yeah, it is a battle. It is not easy.
Someone would actually be surprised that someone would clap because so they've said they're going to put them into these remand homes, but that is the reality. Some of these children feel more comfortable in these remand homes than being in their own homes, and some get too comfortable being on the street that they love the life on the street. So we want to understand what is the kind of life that they live, what is that they're so attached to on the street. Why do they want to get stay on the street rather than being at home? What are some of the activities that they get involved in?
Few are interacted. Most of them, they tell you that they pick containers, they sell. At the end of the day, they are able to get something to eat. And now the bad thing is most of them are now into drugs. Like even the ones who were arrested, they were found with petrol, they were found with weed. So they're into drugs now. And then children, the fact that the children being on the streets, it is really risky for them. They're exposed to physical abuse, even sexual abuse, and then some of them are emotional abuse, because some of them they really don't want to be on the streets, but it is circumstances that force them to be on the streets. You find at times at home conditions are not good. they really wish to be in their homes, but since things are not good, and some of them are living with their grandmothers who cannot support them, living with their stepmoms who do not want them there, so they really find it hard to be home. They are forced to come to town. So these children are really exposed to so many risks, yeah, because they pick people's phones, they pick money, they steal other things. So of late, when people get there was a child who has got the other side of Uli, went and just stole somebody's spoon. He was killed. And then there was this one who went with their friend. He's young, and then he was directed to go and pick a motorcycle. The ear was cut down. So those are the different things they're involved in, and they suffer at the due course of being on the streets. Yeah.
That is heartbreaking that a child is killed for stealing a spoon. But then what does the law say about this?
Now there are laws in place to protect them, but now especially these street children, you find some of them most times being children, especially those ones from the age of 12 and above. You know, the age of criminal liability in Uganda here is from 12 and above. So for those ones who are 12 and above, they're always they're prosecuted and then they're taken to remand home. But for those young ones, what we always do is after they're arrested, they're given psychosocial support, and then they are resettled back in their homes. Or those ones they see who have homes and who can be resettled, they always given community service, maybe just to make them to refrain from being on the streets, and then they are taken back to their homes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you do follow-up on these children? Because you said you pick the ones that got out of the remand homes were also involved in another, they went back to the street into another criminal activity. Do you do follow-up on these children who get out of these homes to see how they are progressing?
Yeah, we do. We do follow-ups, we do home visits to see how they are at home after we resettle them, to see if this child has gone back to school, because what we always do is for those young ones, the school going age, we advise their parents to take them back, because you find most times some of them who are taken from the remand home and then who have at least have that experience of being inside, they don't like it, so they will tell you, when we go back home, we'll not do that again, and for real, the others will not do it. So you find at times they go back to school, but there are those ones, of course, not all of them will change. Some of them will still remain, and then they will wish to come back to the streets. Yeah.
Okay, that is very interesting. And to everyone watching us, hope I see you, Badizo and everyone else out there, thank you so much for watching, and you can let us know what you're thinking by leaving a comment on our YouTube channel. And our discussion of our topic of discussion today is children in the streets. What do you think? What kind of we've seen the kind of lives that they live, and the question has always been, why are these children on the streets? Let us know what you're thinking. Together in the studio, we are discussing this topic with Victoria, the probation officer of Aurora City Central Division, who is here with us. Now, turning to Victoria, we've talked about these children, some are as young as 6 years old, you know, going on the street to fend for themselves for the different reasons that we have seen here. When people talk about street children, what comes into their mind is the boys. So we want to know, are there also girls who are on the street? And if they're there, what are some of the reasons that push these young girls to go on the streets? And what kind of risks are they exposed to on the streets?
Funny enough, most of the street children in Aurora City, most of them are boys. The ones who have been arrested, most of them are boys. So I am thinking that because culture kind of controls girls' mobility, so most times they are at home. So you find the children who are on the streets, most of them are boys. It is very rare for you to get a girl who is on the street. Yeah, that is it.
So most of them are boys, like you say. The culture issue comes into play, and we thank God that it's mostly boys, because we'd imagine having girls on the streets, young girls being exposed to all these things. That time, Senene, the time when Ise came around, the cases of rape actually shot out, where young girls were seen going on the street, and it was worse this side of Awindiri and Zambia, where parents just left their young girls to go, and young boys, at around 7, this is at the time where they're going out to go and do these things. So we all play a role in this. Let us specifically zero down to the roles of parents. What role do parents play in all this? How do they contribute to the rising number of children on the streets? How do they push their children to go on the streets?
All these issues of street children, to me, I will say that they are as a result of poor parenting. As parents, if you provide for your child, if you give them the necessary support, I don't think they will always come to the streets. They will always wish to be at home. But in a case that you fail to provide for them, you fail to care for them, they will always find where to be, where they can get things on their own, how they can survive on their own. So most times you find parents neglect their what? They neglect their roles. Like now, especially these parents, especially now in our setting here, you find the men are now, they have resorted to drinking. You find they go drinking, they don't even care about what the family is going to feed on. They have left everything on a woman. And you find this is a woman who is struggling to see ends meet, taking care of children, paying school fees, and yet at times the number of children is, there are many, it becomes really very hard for her. So I would say drinking has also been one of the causes of that. And then another one, I would say low levels of illiteracy. Like now, if you're a parent and you've never been to school, of course you will have no value attached to education. Whether your children sit at home, whether they do other things, you will not mind. But to those ones, the parents who are educated, they will always wish their children to be in school, because they know their value, they know the value attached to school. And then maybe another thing is the alarming poverty in the city really makes it hard. There are people, it is very hard for them even to get 1,000 shillings in a day. So tell me, such a parent, how does he provide the necessities for this child's development and then for the growth of the child? It becomes very hard. There are others, they will really tell you openly they are defeated. They are defeated, they cannot provide, even take this child to school. Some of them have even ever called us. They tell us now these children were defeated, and they tell you that these children are for the government, expecting us to intervene and then give support. And yet these are your own children. You're supposed to take care of them. They are not for the government. You're supposed to take care of them. You ensure that they are well, and then you take care of everything that they need. Yeah.
Okay, that is a very good insight there. It's funny how parents think children are the responsibility of the government, but it starts with you as a parent. That is what we believe, because this teaching starts from home. And in any case where you cannot manage taking care of the children, at least you talk to the children to stay home and maybe get into other activities. But it's important to keep these children in school. Our topic for today is children in the street. Let us know what you think about this. I know when we talk about street children, most of you who have been to Kampala have seen these kids on the streets, where the young girls, even babies, are laid on the street, and their mothers actually put them there so that people give them money. They also use these children to make money. By the way, that is what some of the parents do. And we've seen these children begging on the street. You also see a sect of them working, vending, selling water, fruits, Jews on the street to earn a living. But then you also see these ones who pickpocket and steal phones, you know, cause disorganization in the town or in the city and all that. Where all of this, all we're talking about is these street children, and we've seen the kind of activities that they engage in. Some are into drugs, some are into stealing, others are just idle on the street. Let us know what you're thinking. We're going on for a short break, and when we come back, we're going to read your comments and still look more into the matter of these street children. What effect does this have on these children, their parents, and on the government? What role does all these stakeholders have to play in seeing that we put an end to this vice? Don't go away. My name is Lillian Ayot, and this is The Real Talk.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
A brand new Global Star TV with StarTimes Inside Technology. New TV innovation with an inbuilt decoder that connects you to both StarTimes antenna and satellite signal. With StarTimes Inside Global Star TV, you can enjoy over 300 local and international channels, 1 month StarTimes highest bouquet for free, automatic system update, more benefits, more affordable. StarTimes Inside Global Star TV is available in all StarTimes branches and dealers countrywide. StarTimes Inside, entertainment inbuilt.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region. Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
A brand new Global Star TV with StarTime's inside technology. New TV innovation with an inbuilt decoder that connects you to both StarTime's antenna and satellite signal. With StarTime's inside Global Star TV, you can enjoy over 300 local and international channels, 1 month StarTime's highest bouquet for free, automatic system update, more benefits, more affordable. StarTime's inside Global Star TV is available in all StarTimes branches and dealers countrywide. StarTimes Inside, entertainment inbuilt.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region. Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
Star TV with StarTime's inside technology. New TV innovation with an inbuilt decoder that connects you to both StarTime's antenna and satellite signal. With StarTime's inside Global Star TV, you can enjoy over 300 local and international channels, 1 month StarTime's highest bouquet for free, automatic system update, more benefits, more affordable. StarTime's inside Global Star TV is available in all StarTimes branches and dealers countrywide. StarTimes Inside, entertainment inbuilt.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region. Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
brand new Global Star TV with StarTimes Inside Technology. New TV innovation with an inbuilt decoder that connects you to both StarTimes antenna and satellite signal. With StarTimes Inside Global Star TV, you can enjoy over 300 local and international channels, 1 month StarTimes highest bouquet for free, automatic system update, more benefits, more affordable. StarTimes Inside Global Star TV is available in all StarTimes branches and dealers countrywide. StarTimes Inside, entertainment inbuilt.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
You are most welcome to Westnile TV. This is the Real Talk, and with me, Ayot, Lillian, every Saturdays from 8 to 10 p.m. I hope you are having a very lovely evening this evening. We are on StarTimes Zuku, and you can catch us, stream us live on our YouTube and Facebook channel. That is the Facebook of the page of Westnile TV, where you can actually engage with us. You let us know what you are thinking on this particular topic. And our topic for discussion today is children in the streets. What do you think about these children? We're commonly known as the street children, have raised a lot of discussion in the past few days, and we have seen a rise in their number in Uganda, and zeroing down to Arua City, there has been a lot of cases of these children in the streets where they have been involved in crimes like pickpocketing, stealing people's things. They have been engaged in activities like drug abuse and many more, vending on the streets. And together with the probation officer of Arua City Central Division, we discussed a number of things as to why these children are on the streets, and they have given their various reasons, what have been done, and how this has affected them individually. We are still on with the discussion, and we've been joined by a new guest here in the studio, our colleague, and let's have him introduce himself. You're most welcome today.
All right, thank you, Lillian. My name is Frederick Chamadri. You commonly see me on the Kokoliriko show, but tonight I felt I should also join you people in this discussion, because this is to do with street children or children on the streets is like an alarming thing that we see it on a daily basis, that we meet or we interface with these children. Most times if you move to the streets of a town, or even Gulu or Soroti, or even in Kampala, you realize that most of these, you will always witness them in these busy roads or streets where you find most of the businesses are done, where most cars move and so on. And the activities of these children are not really those that you may think a child is able to do at a certain period of time. But also, if you look at most of the interventions tailored towards removing these children off the streets, they have not really yielded so much, and that is one thing we should be asking ourselves about. And that's why I felt there's need to do really something great, unique, or have maybe some of the people who are advocating for the rights of children to also move to look at these kind of children who are on the streets, in order to really also avert the number which is really always increasing. But also, it is not on the streets only. You realize that if you move to the remand homes, the number of children keep on increasing, and that's why you see in West Nile, most districts are advocating for the remand homes, and yet these are really making these children to grow like people who may not have a good future. Because if we're advocating for remand homes other than really advocating for schools, that is something that indicates that we have lacked the parenting aspect.
Okay,
that means we have maybe left out the spiritual aspects that we are supposed to impact into these children. Yes.
Okay, Frederick, you know, last month it said that about 111 children were in the remand home here in Arua city. So my question is, do you think the city status has led to the influx of these street children?
I don't think that could be the only one. There are so many reasons that could have led to the increase or the surge of the number of children that we see on the streets right now. Talk about the kind of parenting that we have. You have Lillian, who is here, assuming you are my wife, and all of us are moving for work from morning, and we all reach home in the evening. Look at who is caretaking about these children. What is this person sending, or the messages that keep these children at home, or how do they live their life in our absence? Those are some of the things that I think are contributing. But also looking at the city now coming, it has also opened ways for these children to come on the streets. I believe that is part of the reason. But also stakeholders have left their roles that they used to have.
Okay,
talk about the community,
before
talk about
to the
yes,
stakeholders.
yes.
You said something about you know, the districts in Westnile now advocating for, you know, having remand homes at least in the different districts, and this does not sit well with you. So instead of advocating for these remand homes, what is that thing that you feel should be done before we reach to advocating for more remand homes?
Okay, we still have viable entities in government. Talk about the Ministry of Center, Labor and Social Development, where the probation and welfare officer is representing that ministry keenly, and that is where I think you bringing her here is of very importance to that category of thing. If a viewer is watching us, the ministry is actually represented. Okay. One of the things they are supposed to do, which I've ever talked about, is teaming up with the community liaison officers, with the parish chiefs, with the local leaders at grassroots level, talk about in the villages, to really sensitize the people about the existing laws. Also talking about the issues of parenting. Parenting is not one day off thing. There's need for people to be imparted knowledge of the changing technology that is coming up now. You realize that most of the children move out of their homes or their parents' homes because they have seen something interesting that is attracting them elsewhere, maybe in the neighboring communities, but where they have gone, you don't know what kind of pairs they are moving with and where they end up. And those are the kind of children you find they land on or find themselves on the streets. And sometimes it perhaps when you see a child of 7, 8, 12 years coming on the streets, and right now if you move to the streets of Arua town, you realize that you will interface some of these children coming to really closer to you, and sometimes some of them threaten to box you. You feel like, what kind of child is this? Who has been trained in this? And in case you happen to also maybe slap any of these, you realize that big boys come on the streets and follow you up. And that is one thing I feel as a passion, that children have been tailored in a wrong way. They have been really trained in a wrong way by some of the peers who are above them. Maybe criminals are training these children
so you feel these big boys
fulfill their
who exist. These big boys on the streets are the ones nurturing these young ones
that
into
is it,
these
that is
activities.
It. That is it. Totally, I agree with that, and I can even attest to that. One of the Christmas, I think that was 2021, when we went for prayers. After the prayers, we're coming from the vigil mass that is always at night. You remember those masses?
Yes, yes.
That end at around midnight and so on. When we were going back home, one of the kids came around. I thought this one also started coming from the prayer, and he snatched my phone. As I was following this child, I saw some big men came and really they were threatening to kill me. Others were with knife and so on. That is the scenario we find ourselves sometimes in. So you realize that these young kids are actually trained by these big boys to fulfill their obligations or their desires of maybe they wanted to maybe steal something, they wanted to go and kill someone, and they send these children to assess the situation. They hide behind, and that is the worst part of it. When you arrest this small kid, the big enemy or the people who trained them remain behind. That means we have not dealt with that crime. You will see this child, and this child will be pardoned by law. Sometimes some of them do not reach 12 years above, and you know the law says if a child is not above 12 years, he or she is not supposed to be tried in courts of law. And that is one hiccup that we see is really happening so much. And I feel as a person that these structures that we already have that are able to really deal with community issues where they have the capacity to engage the community or in terms of dialogue, in terms of training them, in terms of these other issues to do with maybe having parental groups where they're able to understand within themselves how you were able to raise your child successful, how they are able to discuss these kind of things, and eventually it impacts on raising the children successful. That is one way I think it will be really very, very important if we take it that direction.
Thank you. That is a very insightful outlook right there. Thank you for putting that up. Now, before we go into what you have done as the probation office, like he says, you're representing the ministry right here. There's a game changer in this where he talks about these big boys training these young children into this activity. I mean, have you ever focused on the focus to these big boys and to these small children?
You find in my interaction with these children, it is true. At times, certain activities they engage in, you find there are people who are there behind them. Because when some of them now go to the extent of like those big ones who tells them, go and steal for us goats, go and steal for us chicken, they go and steal and then they bring to this person, and you find at the end of the day, somebody comes with a whole goat and the child is only given 5,000. And those ones even recently they were arrested with some 2 adults. So we concluded that actually they are the ones influencing them to go and engage in some of those risky activities like stealing, picking people's things, and then drugs. So you find the moments when they are got with them, they also prosecuted and taken to prison. But now the children are taken to the remand home because they cannot be taken to prison. Yeah.
Okay, has there been a deliberate effort to deal with these adults directly?
Now it has been hard. You know, it is hard where there is no evidence. It becomes very hard. Like there was one, he was got like at around 5 a.m. in the morning. This was a young boy of 10 years. This boy disappeared from home like for 3 months. They were looking for him. So this boy was got very early in the morning rolling a bicycle. He was instructed by those people who are behind them to take it to where they sell second-hand bicycles. So as he was coming, I think it was just God, the elder sister who had been looking for him, who was escorting somebody who was actually going to Kampala market, got him. They saw this young boy rolling the bicycle and then they became concerned. So when they were at the same time scared also, because the boy was rolling, he was like trying to reduce his speed, and then those women stopped. So as they stopped, they called him, "Hey, how are you?" He was like, "He's fine." They were like, "At this time, where are you going with the bicycle?" He was like, he was instructed to take it to Gaga, and then stays with there up to morning, and then they will come and later sell the bicycle. So this lady, this young boy coming nearer, he realized that this was actually their last born who disappeared from home like some 3 months ago. So this boy was taken to police. When she gave me a call, she really wanted that boy to be taken. But now, taking his age, he could not be taken. 10 years. 10 years. So when I interacted with this boy, he was like, actually for him, he had been sleeping in the mosque, the other side of Uli. So there were these big boys who are thieves who came and got him there. They were like, hey, you boy, you're very dirty, we want to take you somewhere. So he was taken there. Actually, he stayed with them like for 1 week, and he was trained there. He was trained on how to pickpocket money, pick people's phones, and then do the rest of the things. So they were like, you're going to work with us, and they were like, when you do this, we are going to give you this. So the boy was comfortable with them. So this boy, we later talked to him. He accepted to go home, and as I talk now, he's still at home. So now, those big boys getting them, it is not easy. It is a very risky things. Because even now following them they tell you, yeah, they stay in such a area. But now as a probation officer, even at times police fears them. Because they have ever attacked police, even removed their things. Recently, a police officer was attacked by some of them. They removed the shoes, and yet this was a police. What of us now? It is not easy. But however, we are really trying with the community leaders. There are those ones, whom the community has confirmed that they're living in a certain area, maybe a certain building. They are really trying to organize themselves. They see how they can be arrested. Yeah, that is what they are trying to do in a team now. Yes.
That's an interesting story coming in from the probation officer. That is just one of the many stories that could be told. And like I said, for those of you who are familiar with the Kampala streets, we've seen parents, putting out their children on the streets to beg for money because they want to earn. Unlike these children who are trained by a group of boys on how to carry these activities, like you have seen these things that are well planned. The kids don't just go on the streets to do this. I still want to turn to you. We had looked at the roles that parents play in this. What would be done to a parent who sends the kid on the street to, beg or maybe go pickpocket in order to support the family?
Now, as a rural city, with support from FIDA, there is already a bylaw that has been passed by council, which is going to protect the children. What we are going to do is parents who are not going to take their responsibility, take on their roles to ensure that these children are protected, are actually going to face the law. This time it is not a joke because the issue is really becoming serious. Parents have neglected their children, they are not taking on their roles. So we are going to deal with them accordingly. Some of them who are really seen that they are the ones exposing these children to those protection risks, they will face the law. That is what the law has for them, the bylaw. Yeah.
So as parents, as people out there, you should be aware that there's a bylaw that protects just children. And if you know of any child who is being abused, maybe used on the streets to go and beg or maybe go pickpocket and do some of these things, please do report, because there's a body that is responsible for these children. And talking about the increased high crime rate on the streets, and seeing the number of children on the streets rise, those who are vending, doing a lot of things out there, you can also be a responsible citizen by maybe talking to these children and maybe taking to the probation officer. That is why she is there. That is why all of them are out there, just to be a responsible citizen. Coming back, we're going in for a break, but when we come back, we shall deeply look at what the government intervention into this, and also a lot of questions that will be answered here in this discussion. Don't go away. Do let us know what you think on our YouTube channel. And this is The Real Talk with me, Ayot, Lillian. See you after the break.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
A brand new Global Star TV with StarTime's inside technology. New TV innovation. innovation with an inbuilt decoder that connects you to both StarTimes antenna and satellite signal. With StarTimes inside Global Star TV, you can enjoy over 300 local and international channels, 1 month StarTimes highest bouquet for free, automatic system update, more benefits, more affordable. StarTimes inside Global Star TV is available in all StarTimes branches and dealers countrywide. StarTimes Inside, entertainment inbuilt.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region. Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
Welcome back from that break. This is the Real Talk with me, Ayot, Lillian, and thank you for watching Westnile TV, lighting up the region. Every Saturdays from 8 to 10 p.m. we are here on the Real Talk. You can be a part of this beautiful discussion by going on our YouTube channel to leave a comment what you think about this topic. And today we are looking at the street children. Most of you have had encounters with these people. I know we all have stories to tell about these children, and from pickpocketing, vending, abuse, and all that, and more and more. And we've looked at who a street child is, what they do, the characteristics, some of the things they have been engaged in, and how this has affected them individually and all that. But now we want to, before I go there, there's a question that someone says, because the government has focused so much on okay, before we go on to that, but we have the probation officer who is here with us in the studio, and there was a question that was posed to her, that what has the government done to tackle this issue. So I'll turn to Victoria right here in the studio to let us know what interventions have been put in place to deal with the issue, the rising number of street children on the streets of Uganda, and particularly here in Arua.
Thank you so much, Lillian. I think government has tried as far as the issue of street children is concerned. We have homes, though we don't have in Arua here. What we only have in Arua is the remand home, where those ones who come in with the law, they are always taken to remand home. So in the case of Arua, we don't have a home, but what we always do is those ones whom we feel are now like serial offenders, we don't take them to the remand home here. We always refer them to Kapringisa, where they are taken, they are being trained on some skills, and then later we expect after they finish from the other side, we again bring them back and then settle them in their families. So I am, as a probation officer, I've really seen nothing much has not been done. There are so many interventions that are not focusing on the street children. Yeah.
Okay, so what can be done?
Now, to me as a probation officer, with the challenges that I see that are upcoming with the rising number of street children, I would really say that if government could establish homes whereby these street children could be settled there temporarily, as we settle them back in their families, it would really be a good thing. And then to the partners that are working with us in Arua here, I would really urge them to pledge their support to see into that. We handle issues of street children together, they handle it together with the government. Maybe they can come up with interventions like establishing homes as well, and then also supporting these children with education, with skills training, maybe plus other things which would help them to leave being on the streets, and then they go back to their homes. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. You say something earlier on about some children being at home during day and then they only come on the streets at night. Should we say that these are school-going children, or they are not?
Yeah, some of them are. Because according to one parent who called me, who actually, after hearing that there were 13 who were arrested, they are now going to be taken to remand home. She called me, she was like, probation officer, I wish you could also help me. I have 2 of my children here who are really headache. They don't want to go to school. Even at times when they go in the evenings, they disappear. So she was wishing if I could also support her, and maybe the children are taken to remand home. So you find during the day they go to school, at times they don't finish the whole day in school. In the evenings they disappear, they come and they're on the streets. Like there were 2 who were got, their brothers. They told me openly they enjoy being on the streets. So most times in the evening, after even finishing supper, after their parents entering inside, they come out and they love being with their friends. Yeah.
Okay. Frederick, Victoria had earlier on said, like she's just said right now, some of these children enjoy being on the street, like they want to be there because it's what they want. And we also looked at this, she talked about these parents calling them to ask them to take their children to remand homes because they cannot handle these children anymore. What is your take on that?
Okay, I will start from the legal perspective, from the law that our probation and welfare officer was ably trying to cite that was approved recently by the council. I was present when this law was actually approved, and if you look at the sections, a section of this law, a child, generally a child of maybe let's say 15 below, has no right of deciding on the future or what he or she wants when even if he is at home. Okay, a child, it is you as the parent to set a direction to this child. So when a child chooses to stay on streets, it is you who has not set the direction for this child, and the law is very clear that you as a parent, you are supposed to be arrested once this child is got on the streets. And this brings me to the issue of what should we do, or what has been done. What do you think is good that we should do in order to avert this? I will cite an example with the Gulu City. Last year, they were able to team up, talk about the stakeholders were able to team up to see how they should really avoid street kids coming on, or children coming on the streets. And one of the interventions they did was at first to arrest all the children on the streets. After arresting all the children, they started beating them one by one. You come, they beat your buttocks, and they bring your parents, ask you what was the reason that brought you out. And then that was one way they were able to really understand that some of these children just came deliberately. They felt like staying on the streets is where they are able to earn quickly. Okay, because when they move on the streets like that in a group, they're able to steal things, they're able to involve themselves in so many other dubious activities, and they're able to at least go with their cash. And that was one of the motivating factors. And they openly told the organizations that were supporting these street children to stop. When they stopped that, and the children who came on the streets, they were getting clothing, they were getting food items and so on. and they even provided the homes for them. And this really made some other children to learn that actually if you go on the streets, you are able to get a lot of things. So they started coming in big numbers, and after the stakeholders detected this, they had to stop the aids that were coming. They had to arrest these children and take them back to their parental homes. And that was one way the street children or the street children on the streets of Gulu City is at least minimal now. If you go there, it is not like here that we are seeing in Arua City. Only that people have failed to take those kind of decisions, radical decisions that seem to be violating the human rights, but they are solving certain issues. And two, when this remand home of Arua was established, you realize that people at first had negative attitude, but when they saw that government was bringing a lot of support, training these children, some of them coming out with good or better minds, and they were able to change themselves. And also some people saw that children were coming home very healthy. Because of the looming hunger, people started saying this one should be sent there. When they are coming to maybe arrest some of the children, some people even decide to take their children from home to the remand homes. And that was one of the factors that was really bringing this kind of burden on government. And that's why I was saying these issues of advocating for more remand homes should be out of our minds. Two, we should take decisions that we think can really help for now and for the future. Because if we say the human rights laws are there, and yet we have other some of these bylaws that are very, very direct, because ideally a child of 8 years should be in primary, in school. So what has gone wrong? These are the things really we need to iron out if we want to see that this street vending is taken off. And one of the sections of this bylaw that was passed recently was clearly indicating that even during the day when a child is seen on the streets at the time of school with the school uniform or without school uniform, he should be arrested. So that was one thing which was, I think, after the approval of this bylaw, should have started its course. One of the ways it should start is by community engagements, and also really letting the people, the public, know about this existing law. Because why we have failed to enforce some of the laws in this country is basically because people don't know about these laws. And also maybe if they hear about them, what are the sections? What are they saying? What role do I play as a parent? What role do I play as a media person? What role do I play as a government official? These are things people want to understand. Much as you are saying, the law is very clear, the law is very clear, but if I don't know about it, who is to tell me that the law is there and it exists, and these are the sections that I'm supposed to play my part in? Those are the things we need to know. And the issue of saying children love to stay on the streets is a wrong decision, or a wrong statement from a person that I will not believe should say it. Because if you say a child loves to stay on the streets, it's just like when an organization released their survey. I think it was the UNFPA who released their survey that Arua City was out of the 5 cities that they sampled. Arua City had there was actually a sex outbreak in Arua City, and that was attributed to these issues of street children coming on streets, and also children adopting to the technologies. And in that report, you realize that they said 50% of these girls loved to have children. You see this? Now, if children are the ones making decisions, how about we as a community? What role are we playing? That is why I was saying, let's not leave these children to make decisions for us. It is we who have seen the future that these children will be able to hit to. So we should be able to really teach them very well from the childhood up to now, this age where they are able to at least stand by their own, they are able to make decisions by their own, and that is where it is. And if we leave it just like the way others feel like these children are notorious, they have defeated me, they are what, that is where we have gone wrong. A child can never defeat you, yes.
So we want to know what message you have for these parents who call these people to tell them the child has defeated me, I cannot take care of this child, you know, the child is better off there, and for these ones who see it as an opportunity for the government to take care of the children, maybe feed the children, because these things are available in the remote homes.
Lillian, I've interacted with so many parents, and you realize that much as these parents are claiming that these children have defeated them, they have never stopped producing. Okay, that is one fact. What are they producing? They are producing children. That means they love more children than what they are claiming that the children have defeated them. One thing people are saying that children have defeated them is failure to provide for these children. If you have failed to provide the children their necessary requirements, talk about feeding them. That is one thing. If you have not been able to feed your children at the right time, maybe you have one meal in a day and this is at night. Trust me, the whole day the child will be able to move to a neighbor to look for food. And that's one way you will say the child has defeated you. It is you who has been defeated by providing, by not providing the necessary requirements that these children need. And that's one way really people need to go around and look for ways of addressing that. Poverty can be eradicated in very many ways. There are so many ways you can equip yourself and really start earning without even going to school. If you are somebody who dropped out of school, you can go and start practicing agriculture, which is not from the papers, but you can pick your hoe and start digging, which is very simple. 2, you can do other petty businesses with other people. Any small money you put in business can be able to multiply, and you can be really able to do well. And also choosing a partner. If you have a wrong partner who is always there at the doorways waiting for you to come with whatever you have, that is one thing really you will continue to suffer in poverty, that you feel like you are not working, but yet you are working, and that's why maybe you are not providing enough. One person has folded the hands, then the other one is the one providing, and that is one thing that has affected most of the communities in Westnile. And also the issues of, just like I said, providing for these children is very necessary. If we cannot do that, we will say children have defeated us, and that is something that we cannot expect from parents. Right now, let's adapt to the new changes. If you look at education sector right now, children are supposed to go with some of these gadgets, talk about the smartphones, talk about books, talk about some of these things. There are so many things that have been added on. So let's be flexible and also really add or change according to what is currently coming. Because if you cannot adopt and you feel like, in my time there was nothing like this and my child should not have it, and yet other children are having it, you will tap it wrong, and children will say, no, you are not supporting us, it's better I go and look for my ways. And that's why most times the girl child have ever moved out of homes when they have not even reached 18 years. Others have been married off, others feel like they can work as maids, and they move on streets, and those are some of the ways children move on the streets. And also the boy child feels like, you're not supporting me enough, let me go and sell so and so's eggs, where I'm able to get at least in a day 5,000 or 1,000 from the commission that I'll be able to earn. And that's why most times these children on the streets who are not criminals, you find them doing those kind of petty businesses. But those that are really violating the laws are who most times those who deal in the legal fraternity say those who are in contact with the law. You realize that most of them end up in doing those kind of businesses, and during the day you will not see them on the streets. The ones you see on the streets during the day are the ones that have come to look for money in a good way. For instance, those ones who are selling eggs, those who are selling chapati, those ones who are selling utensils, bananas and so on. You have seen most of them here on the streets. But at night, those ones there, you must know that there's someone behind them. and that's what we need to fight.
Okay, thank you so much. That has been a lengthy insight and a very, very useful one, and I hope you've taken out something out of what our colleague Frederick here has said. He's talked at length, and you let us know what you think about this topic, what can be done in this, some of the interventions that can be, that can be done by the government regarding this particular topic by going on our YouTube channel and leaving a comment like Rothmio Edmond has. He says poverty is the root cause of these street kids because the government has failed to affordably service delivery, especially in our local place. Thank you so much, Rothmio Edmond, for that comment, and many others who are still to leave their comments. So we're turning to Victoria. Hope Chosen Hope says poor parental guidance from some parents are the reasons these kids are pushed out. Only if the parents guide these kids well from the different. That's to be continued. That's coming in from Hope. Hope, thank you so much for leaving that comment. She emphasizes poor parental guidance. So parents, please do guide your children well. It says only to guide the children well from the different homes, the numbers would reduce. So she's actually talking to the parents to guide their children well on how to, conduct themselves, behave, and a lot of things that would really much greatly reduce the number of street children on the streets. Thank you so much, Hope. Turning to our probation officer, Victoria, he briefly talked about something like the boy child feeling neglected. Some of the reasons some of these people give is that more attention is being given to the girl child, leaving out the boy child. How? And in your earlier input, you had said the number of children in the remand homes is actually all of them are boys. And how has this neglect of the boy, is it true the boy child has been neglected? And if it's true, how has this led to the increase of number of these boys on the streets?
I would really not agree to what he has said. It's not that the greatest number of street children being boys means that they are being neglected. It is not true. Because much as the government is putting emphasis, maybe plus other partners, on girl child education, I really don't think that the boy child has been left out. Now, if you take like UPE is for all children, for both boys and girls. For parents who cannot afford taking their children to private schools, and because of school fees, we have UPE schools, government schools around who have UPE program where they could actually take their children. But you find people are not impressed in that. People don't want to take children. And I will really not agree with him. I will not.
Okay, so she definitely doesn't agree that the boy child has been neglected, and that is no reason for them to be on the street. I don't know what Frederick has about that.
But of course, government will continue to say they have not neglected anyone because of the differences. They feel like they have done enough. But if you look at in general perspective, I want to roughly just cite an example with one of the schools that went on strike, where the boys section went on strike. This was in one of the districts in this region. I will not mention because of the reasons of the strike. If you look at that strike, it was last year that students, especially the boys, went on strike, and the reason they advanced was one, partners have been really so much giving a lot of things to girls. If you look at that school in refugees hosting district, where partners were so much into the girl child education, they were giving scholastic materials to the girls, they were giving pads and so on. And the last time when the last consignment, I mean the last set of pads were given to girls, that was when boys rioted. And the reason that was published was boys rioted because the girls were given pads. And that is one reason really you will understand that when partners are giving things to the girl child, the boy child should equal be given something. If you are giving the girls maybe the pads, you can give boys maybe boxers and so on. Let them also put on them and let them enjoy. Let them feel like they are also being supported. And generally, if you look at the general perspective of the narrative of the equity that we have in this country right now, you will clearly admit with me that the boy child has for quite a good number of months or years been left out in terms of when government started this campaign of women empowerment. Focus has so much been drawn towards the women and also the girls. And you realize that there are so many circle groups, women-led organizations, women-led everything. But if you move to the men section or the boys, they are very, very few, and most times this is really attributed to the kind of the mind or the kind of development setup that we have now. And if you look at the remand homes, move across the country and count the number of boys in the remand homes, count the number of girls in the remand homes. You realize that the girls are pregnant, they're at home. The boys are in the remand homes. If I'm lying, take a rough survey in a rural city or go to the remand home there in Gilgil. You will see that most of the boys are in the remand homes. And where are the girls? They are pregnant either, or some of them were married off but brought back. And much as government is focusing so much on the girl child, there has been no effort towards even these girls who have conceived, helping them further to deliver or to at least help them after delivering. We saw a step for the second chance in education recently during COVID. But when these girls went to school, after a few months, all of them came home. Go to these schools and find out maybe if there's one of these girls who were pregnant in the school who are still continuing. You will not see any of them. And that's why we're saying there's still need to bring the boy child to these girls, where the girls have reached, they have moved higher, far much higher than the boy child. And that's why you see the boys in the remand home so much. You see the boys on the streets so much. If you go on the streets, the girls are very small in terms of number. They are very few, and that really justifies my statement. And even if the probation officer is still resisting that the boys have not been neglected, I'll still admit, and I'll tell her to first go and do survey, a rough survey, just in Central Division. Go to the streets and stand there. Don't even ask anyone where these boys are coming from. Just look at how many boys are moving, look at how many girls are moving, and then go back. I know in your docket there are so many interventions that government is always rallying. Take all those interventions and see how many of them are tailored towards the boy child. You will come here and stand here, and they also come on air and say yes. You are telling us the truth. So that's where I base my argument, okay. And I don't want to convince you to join me, but that is the fact that is happening.
Okay, his argument is that the boy child has been neglected, and more emphasis and interventions have been towards the girl child. I do not know if you agree with that. You can also let us know what you're thinking. And he says most of this.
If you look at the advocacies that have been done by so many civil society organizations and other organizations, you realize that there's no organization that has come out to say, much as we are talking about the girl child being to be uplifted, let's maybe merge the boys and the girls and to understand what is going on, and also empower them equally. There's no organization that has done that. And that is because most times, most of these organizations argue that for long, the women have been lagging behind. It's true, we admit. But now the situation has changed. The world is looking at women empowerment. As we empower the women, do we leave the men behind? can't we go together if we want to advocate for equity in this world? Because just understanding that the reason for most of the men to go the direction of suicide is because women are empowered, and the men cannot really tolerate anymore. There's no way they can console themselves because they have been left behind. There's no backing. If I go and accuse my wife right now, and the reason seems to be handled, or the case seems to be handled by female officers, they'll first of all look at the aspect of gender. They will look at that, and in the investigations, you will not see any report that is coming concrete. Yes.
Thank you, Frederick, for that perspective. We just feel that this, concept of gender equality is being misunderstood somewhere, but we hope it will be cleared. We're going in for a short break, and when we come back, we want to know the number of these boys who are in the remand home, and the percentage that is in because of impregnating some of these girls, because we want to make some things clear. And when we come back, we want to deeply look into the challenges that these street children face. Don't go away. This is the Real Talk with me, Ayot, Lillian.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
A brand new Global Star TV with StarTimes Inside Technology. New TV innovation with an inbuilt decoder that connects you to both StarTimes antenna and satellite signal. With StarTimes Inside Global Star TV, you can enjoy over 300 local and international channels, 1 month StarTimes highest bouquet for free, automatic system update, more benefits, more affordable. StarTimes Inside Global Star TV is available in all StarTimes branches and dealers countrywide. StarTimes Inside, entertainment inbuilt.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region. Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
A brand new Global Star TV with StarTimes Inside Technology. New TV innovation. innovation with an inbuilt decoder that connects you to both StarTimes antenna and satellite signal. With StarTimes inside Global Star TV, you can enjoy over 300 local and international channels, 1 month StarTimes highest bouquet for free, automatic system update, more benefits, more affordable. StarTimes inside Global Star TV is available in all StarTimes branches and dealers countrywide. StarTimes Inside, entertainment inbuilt.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
Welcome back from that break. Thank you for staying with us. This is The Real Talk with me, Ayot, Lillian, every Saturdays from 8 to 10 p.m. Thank you for watching Westnile TV, lighting up the region. And you can catch us on StarTimes, Zuku, and interact with us on our YouTube channel. You can let us know what you think about today's topic. And we're talking about the street children, the children on the street. We've deeply looked at what we mean about what we mean by a street child, the kind of life they live, and the kind of activities that they get involved in, and how this has affected people, and the government interventions that have been there, and the role parents play in all this, why and the reasons, most importantly the reasons as to why these children are on the streets. And joining us today in the studio, we have the probation officer of Arua City Central Division here with us. We also have a colleague here, a journalist, award-winning journalist by the way, here in the studio. And we are in this discussion. We also had comments from you, from Hope, and from Rothmew. Thank you so much. Keep the comments coming. We're looking at these street children. A lot has been associated with these children, but mostly we looked at the negative things that they do that is associated with their activities on the street. What do you think? Let us know what you think, and that is very important. Still continuing with the discussion on the boy child being neglected and how it has contributed to the rise of street children, especially the boys on the street. We're still doing it here with the Frederick, who says because they have been neglected, most of them go on the street to do whatever they get to do. But please let us know if there are statistics that can prove this. We want to know the number of boys who are in the remand home because maybe they have defiled their fellow young girls, and they are at the remand homes.
I don't know why you're so much interested into impregnation.
Because we want to make this clear.
Let's be really serious on this issue. If you look at the issues to do with the street children being maybe remanded and so on, for long we have seen from July up to August, these months there are so many issues around the boy child infiltrating the remand homes in large numbers, and this has been really so much attributed to so many factors that we had already highlighted, talk about the issues of parenting and so on. But particularly last month, that is August, the number of boy child or the boy child that have been remanded sought up to 101, and these cases were really much more in a rural district and the city. but also this was followed by Yumbe and then Koboko, and those were really the districts that really made the figures so high. And this could be attributed to those regions that we said. But if you look at that statistics itself, you realize that most of the cases that have really taken these boys to that facility have been the issues of theft, burglary, and so on. And you realize that that is the basic case that has really taken most of the boys there. The second one was the issues to do with the capital offenses. Talk about defilement, talk about the issues of rape, the issues of child-to-child sex. Okay, it is also an offense, and also talk about the issues to do with the killing their colleagues. The children killed themselves, and that is one of the cases that was also there, very strange. And it is quite unfortunate that if from that stage a child is able to kill another, and that's how you will feel as a parent, or maybe as a stakeholder in this game. How do we really rescue the situation? And that's where we are stemming from this discussion, and that is where we really need to focus so much. If we talk about other cases that are reported there, you realize that the cases of these children being used, that case of being used, they call it, is it, I've just forgotten the term, but that case is also there. And then many others, possession of drugs and so on, substance abuse, those are the things, and that are really there. But the leading is theft, burglary, and so on. Those are the cases. But if you move deeper and understand this, you realize that these children are really motivated by peers. They are motivated by peers, and clearly the girl child is overempowered. That justifies it now. And you realize that the boy child is now much into in conflict with the law, looking at all those circumstances. And also the statistics cannot really lie if you go deeper and see physically, because I was able to at least enter and see the number of boys in that remand home physically. I didn't see any girl there really, and there was no case of a girl maybe impregnated that was stated there, but the issues there were child marriage, the issues there were the issues of rape, the issues of defilement, but not pregnancy was not there. So where your interest was, it is not there. So that is where the concern is. And sometimes we feel like not really deviating away from the intentions of government of advocating for the women empowerment and so on. The empowerment should be understood in a way that really everyone feels okay with it. And also the empowerment, the empowerment should not really be interpreted in a way that somebody feels the other one is inferior or the other one is maybe superior. That should not be the reason. It should be explained to the people to understand it in a common way, that why we're empowering these women is they did not have access to what? These kind of things. Maybe in a cultural perspective, women were not supposed to eat gizzard, chicken, and so on. But now women are able to consume this, and those are things why we want to bring these women together. There are some cultural practices that really made the women to be behind. There are some areas like women are not supposed to put on trousers, and all of you are now putting on trousers. You feel comfortable, and that is one way. People need to understand those things. If we don't explain them, they will feel like the women are being favored just to make the men inferior, and that's one thing that we need to kill off if we want to really move further with these empowerment programs that we have. Okay, yeah, that's your perspective on the gender equality issue and how it has been misunderstood. And of course it has been misunderstood. Yes, there's need to clear the air, make some clarification so that people welcome this and do not look at it as a threat from whichever side it is, but it's a good cause that is doing the women a whole lot good and the society at large. We've seen women doing great in their family because they have been empowered
empowered. Most of the children today are being actually taken care of by their children. So we can't deny that. We have a comment coming in from Ojaibo Malikli, who says, address the challenges parents inflict on their children first before you guys start apportioning blames. I repeat, address the challenges parents inflict on their children first before you guys start apportioning blames. Yes, thank you so much for that view. We value it. We are not apportioning blames, but we are looking at the roles of the different people, the parents and also the children in all this, leading why we have a rise in the number of street children. We are not apportioning blames, but we want to look at the role each of these play in this problem that we are trying to look at. Turning to Victoria, kindly throw a light on, you know, some of the the challenges these young children face, because you have personally had an interaction with them, you know, hearing their stories, some of the reasons as to why on the streets. Let's deeply look at some of the challenges that they face.
As I had said earlier on, these children are exposed to so many risks. Like I mentioned, these children have been abused physically, they've been abused sexually and even psychologically. And you find as they go through those different abuses, some of them end up getting sicknesses like HIV plus others. And then as they always find it hard to find food for eating, you find some of them are malnourished, and then their health is not really okay. So they go through so many things. Some of them, as they end up in drugs, you find they go stealing people's things. They end up losing their lives also. Yeah, those are some of the challenges they go through. And then yeah.
Okay, thank you for those. She's the probation officer, so she has a direct, you know, interaction with these children. She gets to hear their stories, seeing why they are on the streets, and also she interacts with their parents to see how best they can address these things. Turning to Frederick, you have run so many stories on this. I believe you have interacted with these children and the probation officers, also with their parents, to see some of the reasons as to why these children are on the street. What are some of those challenges that they face that need to be addressed, so that we see there is a decrease, or maybe tackle this problem of rising number of street children?
First of all, a street is not your home. That's one thing we need to understand. First, like you, at your age, if maybe midnight gets you on the street, you also not feel comfortable, and that's one way really they feel, that's one thing they feel like. And also because of that, the kind of advice they always get from their peers and so on does not help them to, maybe when they grow just like that on the streets, they don't have that kind of future that can really lead them to be a better person in the near future. And that's why you find these kind of groups of thugs, groups of criminals that we always have in Barifa, in these other black spots, where sometimes massively we show police removing some of them, and that is the group that grows always here on the streets. And if we cannot deal away with it, it will really continue to come. But some of the challenges I see personally these children are having is they don't have that chance of having those necessities. Talk about the clothing. When you look at them, they don't even bathe. Sometimes they smell like what. And during the day when they pass like that, you will be able to identify that this should be a criminal. You will just see and really tell someone that this one here is a bad person. And yet this is a child whom we could even transform to be a better person when we mentor this child very well. But one thing is when these children are released from remand homes, there's a lot that needed to be done. Much as sometimes the probation officers do the background checks, unite these children in a very better way, but still they don't feel comfortable with the community, because sometimes that memory comes that when I was there, I used to get money. Sometimes when I was with some of these people, they don't look me better, and so on. Especially once you have pulled out a child from that group of gangs. And those are the things they feel, they fear now most. And they also psychologically, it tortures them so much. And that's why sometimes the remand homes help. But the biggest issue we need to fight first is really getting them off before they stay there for long. If the parents are not really looking for their children, the children will no longer become maybe part of that family. And that is one way your child will one time meet you and kill you. Because when they have already come out, they don't want to be identified as so-and-so's child. When you mention that, hey, what has brought you here? And when you start asking that child like that, the groups will become, maybe they descend on you, they can even kill you on that spot. And that's why I was telling you that we needed to get rid of this kind of children on the streets instead of advocating for their rights, okay? Because that is not where we intend them to be, okay? Where they are at most times, they needed not to really stay on the streets. Much as there are some organizations that are advocating that these children be on the streets, and I know sometimes organizations advocate for the bad things because they want to really keep on getting aids from their donors and so on, but which is wrong. It really deters us from the moral behaviors that we really want to really keep maybe in a society, to develop a society and so on. Those are the things really that are not really good.
Okay, you have well explained the challenges that these people face. You know, the one that touched me is that the children not wanting to identify with their parents after coming out from these remand homes. So it's very, very important for you to, we have a comment from Jaibo Malikli who says, parents should be sensitized on how to handle children earlier before it gets out of hand. If that isn't handled fast, we shall continue to see these children on the street. Thank you so much, Malik, for that comment. It's a very, very valid point. I believe that if most parents are to see this, it will help them, because it's important to handle the problem when it's still at the roots, but not at the stem level. So you need to, you know, groom your children in the proper way. Start talking to them earlier before they get to this. Maybe when they have these friends who influence them in a bad way, you get them away from those bad peer groups. And also don't, you know, tell your children to go on the streets, maybe to do some things to come and support their families. Yeah, we know these are children. Some are very young, below 10, cannot start doing these things unless otherwise the situation is so bad. Thank you. Keep the comments coming. We are still discussing the rise of street children in our different communities. Turning back to Victoria, our probation officer, we know most of these children have been remanded and kept there, hoping that by the time they serve some time, they are changed people. You know, their lives are changed so that they are incorporated in the community. Also coming from the remand home, knowing that somebody did something or maybe was taken there because of theft or pickpocketing, the person is labeled as a bad person in the society. So my question is, how does the community receive these people?
As most times when children are taken to remand home and then they finish their term there, and then when we go and pick them and integrate them back in the communities, we always do talk to their parents. For the cases where they're living with their parents, we talk to them. Even their foster parents, we do talk to them to accept these children, and then maybe not to be reminding them of what they had gone through. reminding somebody of his past is not really good, and then maybe like telling him, threatening him, it is not good. Children are different, they are not like adults. So when this child comes back home, we believe at least he has learned something, and then maybe the experience in the remand home was not a good one for him. He or she can now decide to settle at home. So we always talk to them, we give them psychosocial support, both to this child and then the parent. And then what we do is, after like settling this kid, we just don't leave it there. We keep following, we make home visit to see how this child is faring, and then we always advise them. For the ones who come out from the remand home and then they request us to tell their parents to take them back to school, we always advise them to take these children back to school. For the ones who feel they want to go and do some skills training, we also advise the parents to take them for the skills training plus the other things they request from them. Yeah.
Okay, as we wind up, what are your last words to our viewer?
Now, as the probation officer, I would really urge the key stakeholders to join hand in this, because it is really not a good thing in the city here, because not only few people suffer from this, even us who work with these children personally, we have lost our phones. They pick them from us, they pick money, so it is not easy. So you look at what is happening in Arua city now, and yet we look at these children as future leaders, and now that they are languishing on the streets and then doing all nasty things. So what kind of future leaders are we going to come from Arua here? So it is really a serious issue. We should join hands and see how this vice can be removed. Children are going to school and then they live better lives for us to have better citizens in future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Victoria, the probation officer. We applaud and appreciate your work in ensuring that these kids become responsible citizens in the future. And sorry for all the things that you have lost. We hope that they change. Now, turning back to Frederick, as we wind up, we have seen a lot of people, stakeholders, government putting in effort to see that these children are helped and that their numbers on the streets are reduced, and also parents talking to their children saying that they become better people and leave the streets to be better people. And also these children themselves are trying to be better people, but due to the influence that they get outside, they're still pulled out on the street, and their number keeps on increasing and increasing. What are your last words to this? What can be done, or what key message would you want to leave out to anybody watching out there?
One, I will start with the government. Government has really brought so many laws that are fostering towards parental guidance, towards also really protecting the rights of children and so on. That is one thing I feel needed to be stressed further. If these laws are disseminated to the community members, if the community development office and also the probation and welfare officers are able to disseminate all these laws to the public, and also have public engagements like community dialogues, barazas and so on organized, people will be able to change. Because most of these parents, we have young parents who were not really taught so much into the issues of managing homes and so on. Most of these people, they come from schools, but they marry off. After marrying, what is food is on the table, everything is okay, and that is one thing really people have not really learned so much. Parenting is one thing that we need to stress further. And also to sum up, we talk about the issues of also communities taking up the lead in fighting this. If you go to the statistics that I told you, most of these children come from the rural settings, not really from this within the urban center. Most of the children that are being taken to the remand home, they come from maybe a certain village, and then they come to the urban centers, and that's why they find themselves here. And that could be fought from that level if we can be able to enlighten the public or the communities with the available laws that we have, other than spending a lot of money in keeping these children in remand homes. if we spend this money in sensitizing parents, community members on their roles, this can be minimized. That's what I think we could do in the meantime. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Frederick, for those views, and thank you for joining us today. Our probation officer has her last message.
Thank you, Lillian. The very last one for the parents and maybe to the children out there. To the parents, I would really urge us to take on our roles. We guide our children, we give them the necessary support if we can, because to me as a parent, I will really not feel comfortable having my children on the street, and as well as you parents out there. And then to the children, we should also know that much as we have our rights, we also have obligations that we are supposed to meet. As children, you're supposed to respect your parents, and then you go to school, you support them with household chores. So as children, we should not think that when things are hard at home, that the streets should be the best place for us to be in. We really feel very bad seeing our children on the streets. So parents, let us take this one seriously. Let the law not catch with us. Let us try, and then we do the needful. We work very hard to ensure that our children are better people in future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Victoria, for those last words. She is the probation officer, Aroa City Central Division. And here also we have Damari Frederick, who is an award-winning journalist. And together we have had a fruitful discussion, of course, with you, our viewer, on the topic of street kids. We want to see that the number goes down, and every child deserves a home, and street is not a home. So let's give our children more love and make sure that they feel comfortable at home. So it's a collective responsibility, together with the parents, the children themselves, the parents, and above all, the community. Thank you so much for staying with us on today's episode of The Real Talk. See you again next Saturday on another new topic. Please don't miss every Saturdays from 8 to 10 p.m. We are here on your screen. Thank you so much. Have a lovely evening and see you.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
A brand new Global Star TV with StarTimes Inside Technology. New TV innovation with an inbuilt decoder that connects you to both StarTimes antenna and satellite signal. With StarTimes Inside Global Star TV, you can enjoy over 300 local and international channels, 1 month StarTimes highest bouquet for free, automatic system update, more benefits, more affordable. StarTimes Inside Global Star TV is available in all StarTimes branches and dealers countrywide. StarTimes Inside, entertainment inbuilt.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.